Hey, so thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about joint templates and how we use those fasteners in Mosaic to add different types of joints and hardware and connections to panels and cabinets. So first thing you want to do is you want to have your spec template for the specific hardware that you're trying to set up. Try to find something that's close. So usually what I'll do is I will go to Tools, Import Updated Data, brings you up to this menu, and you want to go to Fasteners and see if there's anything in here that uh, you might want to import. These are all new ones. You can see they're added and or updated. So it's way more convenient to get ones that are already set up, and you just grab it and then set it up. So then you just hit import and it will import it into your current fasteners library. So from there you go to libraries and then you go to hardware, and in the fasteners tab there's joint templates. So there's part templates and joint templates. Today we're going to talk about joint templates specifically. So we click that, and then you can see there's a bunch that are already set up in here. Now let's just assume you're setting up something that's maybe pre-drills for a cabinet that's for screws or something like that. You're going to want to find something that's close. I think Conformat's pretty close. You're basically just getting holes in all the side gables of the cabinets. So that's a good one to start off of if you're trying to set up pre-drills. That being said, if you're trying to set up, say, a Titus, Richelieu Titus, which is the same thing as Rafix, so you can hit this. Rafix, it's got a nice little picture here, so you know that's the proper one. If you're trying to set up a Rafix, find this particular one, and it may be already set up fine, but to set it up the way that you want it in your cabinet, you got to go through these menus here. So I'll just run you through what each thing does under this menu. So here you can set up a price, so your cost, your markup. If there's an add-on price, say this would be more something like it takes you 30 seconds to install this piece of hardware. That's the time spent, and that's probably going to be put into the add-ons. Comment if you want to say, two-part piece, or order from Richelieu.com, part number, blah blah blah. That's where you would type that. Fastener type, drill holes. You can do drill holes. You can do router path, which is going to give you a different type, like a dado or something like that. Not specifically for dados. There's other ways to set up a dado, but let's see which one would have something like that. I think these ones require a specific router pass. Oh no, it's 3 boreholes. Something in, is this one Climax? I don't use any of these. I use the Rafix 20. Those are the most convenient for me. Minifix? No, that's just the... Maybe it's this one. Yeah, so this one's got your specific router path. So again, try to set this up by picking one that's close, or you might want to get training for setting up this part, but this part's pretty straightforward. So let's just say, let's pick something in here already, because I doubt you're going to use a piece of hardware that's not already done by Mozaik somewhere. They also have some that aren't even in that updated thing. So if you reach out to them and say, I need hardware for whatever, a lot of times they'll say, yeah, I got that ready. Here's the file, or something like that. So Richelieu Titus, that's the one I use, which is the same thing as Rafix. We just changed it to Richelieu Titus because in Canada, Richelieu Titus is what they are called. So it's basically why we renamed it. So let's just let's pick one here. Not going to save any changes. Actually, let's go to this oval one. So you can see that you have a female side and a male side. So the male side can get something in here. You can do the same thing. You can do a drill. You can do a certain type of path as well. A lot of times the female side gets the fancy cutout or whatever, and then this one's just a drill hole. You can set your path depth. You can set your path length, your router path. These things are all very subjective to each part. I would recommend highly to get training for that part. Down here, let's say we want, this is where you select which parts get which operations for the hardware, or which parts get the hardware, basically. So what you want to do, let's say you have end to top, so the side of the cabinet to the top of the cabinet, I want to add one of those. As you can see, this has already been pre-programmed for setting it up. If it wasn't, it would have this selected with no fastener. So end to bottom, it's preset up for the bottom. What about the fixed shelf? Preset up for a bottom. Stretcher, preset up. It's basically putting them everywhere. Rear stretcher, mid stretcher, nailer. It's literally putting them everywhere. The back one's nice because you can move it to the move through bores to the flip side. If you have, say you're using qualified tenon for the back, you don't want to flip the operation every single time. You check this box off and it will make the operations appear on the back and it'll through drill it. So check that box if you need it. Partitions, you have a partition to a top, add a fastener. I'm going to add this oval 1230 to a cabinet, and we'll see just how many tool paths and such are on it. So it seems like the way this is set up, it's every single part. Oh, divider to stretcher is not. But there's going to be a lot of operations from this one. So you could just go through these and you say which part needs what. I'll go through mine specifically so you can see. I have Conformat, which I use for pre-drills for the side of my cabinets. So the ends to the top, I have a pre-drill. Location 1 is 1 inch from the front. And you can also say for joints greater than, you wouldn't do this for the first one, maybe for the center one. You only use it for joints greater than 24 inches or something like that. So the bottom, it's the same. And you can also hit copy from top. So if the top and bottom is the same, you just hit copy from and top, and then it just copies it over. Okay, and then if we go to location 2, so you're basically setting each one up. So set top up completely. So you have your first hole, so that's location 1, 1 inch from the front. Location 2, 1.5 inches from the rear. Location 3, at 0 from the center. And from front, rear, and center, you can see here. And it's only for joints greater than 20 point, well, it's basically over 20 inches. If it's over 20 inches, it'll throw a center hole in there. Fourth hole, we don't have that set up. We don't do cabinets that deep too often, so we just manually put holes in. If you had a fourth hole, you can set that up there. So you can see right here, fourth hole, don't use. So then I set that one up, go to bottom, copy that over because it's the same for the bottom. And for the end to back, the other one's a stretcher. I have another one, stretcher set up 1 and 2 from front. Or 2 we don't use. 1 is 0 on the center. So we're just putting one hole in the center of the stretcher. And then we go to back. So I have one hole, 1 inch from the top. Then you go to hole 2. I have 1 inch from the bottom. Hole 3, 0 from center. Hole 4, don't use. So we always have 3 holes for our backs. Again, if there's more, then we'll just end up putting an extra couple screws in when we're installing, or assembling, I mean. But that's how we set that up. You can set also which cabinet these apply to. Maybe you don't want to apply to wall cabinets. You just want to apply to base cabinets. You just deselect that right here. So that's how we have our setup. Then if you go to, say, like backs, back to top, I have 3 holes that go from through the back into the top. One is 2.5 from the right. One is 2.5 from the left. And I have 1 at the center. And the 4th one I don't use. If I wanted to get more, technically if my cabinet's 12 inches, it still makes 3 holes. We just don't end up using the 2 outside holes. But that being said, if I wanted to really bulletproof it, I would set this to only drill these 2 holes if it's bigger than, say, 12 inches. Well, yeah, I do have it here, 10 inches. If it's bigger than 10 inches, this will only appear if it's bigger than 10 inches. So that's my conformat setup. What else here? So let's go and see how we apply this to a cabinet. You kind of get the idea about how those work. Dividers, it's all the same. Every time it's the same setup. Here, you can move. If it's something like this, or maybe more like a Rafix or Titus, and you have Titus going on one side, but you also, on the other side, you have operations. You can select move male side to reverse. So instead of drilling it from the bottom, which is standard, it'll flip it to the top side. And then again for here, move female to reverse. You can add your operations to this side of the cabinet if you select this button right here. So let's see how we add this to a cabinet. So we've found, if you're lucky, you're going to find hardware in here that just works, and then you apply it to where you want it in the cabinet right here. So we're going to cancel that. We're going to cancel that. And then I'm going to go to, I'm going to add just maybe a wall pair. And then double click the cabinet and hit 3D right here, and then go perspective. This will give you where the operations are. So I want to see my 3 holes. I got my 3 back holes here. One there, one there, one there. I'm just going to turn off doors because I don't think I need the doors. Makes it a little cleaner to view. So hole, hole, hole. My 3 holes there. And my side, I have a hole here. I have a hole there. Same as well here. I have my two pre-drills. We use qualified tenons, so that's what these lines are. Then I got 1, 2, 3 holes right there. And if you go left side, you can get a better view. If you click here to center, it'll tell you where you're at for your location there. Now this one, 2 9/16 from the front. So you have to play with it a little bit to get it exactly where you want it, because it's obviously not referencing it exactly where I told it to, but if you know where it's popping it up based on your construction style, you can go do the math backwards to figure out exactly where this would need to be. So now that we can see how it's see in the cabinet where it's applied, if you want to add it to the cabinet, you have to do that within the parameters. So again, you can do this if you want it for every cabinet throughout all. You go to products up here, you go to your parameters in here, and then you go to the other, and then you find your you go to fasteners, and then you go and add. You can have up to 8 different types of fasteners here. So you can see I have conformat, I have Richelieu-Titus for dividers, and fixed shelves. These are different types of operations, so that's why I separated them into 3 different ones. So that's basically how that works. So I'm not going to do it to my main library. Obviously, you can do it in the job parameters. So if you're doing a specific job and you want, for this job, you want to add a certain type of fastener, let's do it here so you can see. You can also do it within the cabinet parameters menu. So in this case, I'm just going to do it in the job parameters so you can see what it looks like. So I'm also going to get rid of all my other fasteners. So click OK, and then we're going to hit 3D again. Well, you can see that one's not really working that well. Let's find one that's going to work well for us. I imagine that Cabanillo would work well. Let's click that one. Yeah, so there we go. It's all set up in there, so you have to set it up yourself where you want it. So you got the double hole, and then in the side of the cabinet you have your little 5mm hole by the looks of it. Same thing on the sides. It's obviously not set up to happen on the backs, but we can do that just to show you how it works. So which one did I have here? Just to make sure I grab the same one. 12A. So we're going to go hardware, joint templates, 12A. You can see there's one with back, so it's automatically set up, but let's just turn it on so we can see. So we're going to go to backs, and we want top to back, and where it says no fastener, deselect that. I don't think I want to I might want to move it to flip side. We'll see on that. We want to go distance along the joint from the left. Say I want to go 3 inches from the left for joints greater than 10 inches. And we'll deselect don't use. And we're going to select location 2. Deselect don't use. 3 inches from the right. Pretty sure that's what I picked. Yeah, left, right, greater than 10 inches. And then the third one, from center, 0, I want it for joints greater than, so it's going to have 2 3 inches from the end, so I'm going to say joints greater than 24 inches. I'm going to add this one, a center. We might select this, we might select these. We're just going to click OK at this point and try it out. First, you want to set this one up perfectly and then copy it to the bottom. So we're going to click OK, double click this guy. It should now have 3 on the back. So let's go back facing view. Oh, you can't really see it. What about the top view? There we go. So let's go here. So this one is exactly 3 inches. So that one's working out good. 3 inches from each side and then 1 right in the center. Now if I shrink this, let's just move this over a little bit. So at 22, I should lose my center hole. Okay, and then at 8 inches, I'm going to lose my 2 outside holes. Back to 10 inches. I guess after 10 inches. Did I say 10 or 12? 12. So at 12 inches, it'll pop up the 2 back ones. And then 26, it'll pop up my middle one again. So we know it's working correctly as far as the stretching goes. And I just want to see what side operations are happening on. disregard this. This is not current. So it looks like all the operations are happening on the correct side. Yeah, there's no operations here. So I just went in the operations tab and I flipped the part over. There's no operations on that side. And then I'm going to go to the back. And then I'm going to flip the part over. And as you can see, I have operations on both sides. So it's doing my groove, it's qualified tenon on the back. And then on this side, I have my my cabanillo screw things. So let's cancel out of there, cancel out of there, cancel out of there. We don't need to save that. Let's go to hardware, joint templates, 12A. We're going to go to backs, back to top. And then, so we really what side do we want to move? So the gable was okay. It was the, oh no, sorry, the top was okay, but the, oh, I actually should have checked the bottom. Let's go back and do that. Hold on. Cancel that. So I mistakenly checked the side. We need to check the top and the back. So we're going to check the top. And I can already tell because it's not green, there's no operations on the other side. So the, cancel out of there, back to hardware, joint templates, 12A. So go back to top. And then the male, which is the top in this case, because it's the side that's going into the back, is good. The female is now incorrect. We might want to select this one instead. Let's try this one first and see if we can get it all on the right side. Click OK, click OK. And then we go back to here, we go parts, edit operations. No, we're still on the wrong side because I got my qualified tenon data on that side. So we're going to go back, cancel, back to hardware, joint templates, 12A. So then we're going to go back to our top. And we're going, really this is just moving the through bores. They're not even a through bore. It's just going, this is how deep it's going. So realistically, what we have to do is we're going to go female side, move it to reverse. That should allow our backs to be coming out all operations on the correct side. So we have one, well, we have to do it for each hole. So we got one correct, two that are incorrect. This is why it's important to do the first one first, get it perfect. Then when you get the first one first, then you can copy it to other parts. And even if your dimensions are wrong, you can still adjust the sizes, but just to have every checkbox correct, it saves you a lot of headache later on when you're trying to figure out the bugs. So we're going to go to top. So we have top back. Location 1 is correct. Location 2 is correct. Location 3 is correct. And location 4 we're not using. Click OK, click OK. We go to the back. Edit operations. Flip this part over. And all my operations are on this side now. Flip it back over. There's no operations. So that's perfect. That's what we want to do. Cancel, cancel. And then we're going to just do it one more time. We're going to, oh, sorry. Hardware. Joint templates. 12A. And then we're going to go to top back. We know this is correct now, so we can go to top bottom. And we're going to uncheck that, and we're going to copy it from end. No, we're going to check it, copy it from top back. So we have our move to reverse, 3 inches, and we click OK, click OK. Double click this. We go back to our parts, check our back, edit operations, Nothing on this side. You have to flip it over in the optimizer anyways when you have qualified tenons, so you just want up everything on this side. So there you go. That's basically how you apply it to a part, copy it to a part, and get it onto a cabinet. You may want to add it to a fixed shelf too. We can do that too, just so you can see. Oops. So you go to hardware, join templates, 12A, fixed shelf, uncheck the no fastener, copy from that one there, click OK, and OK. And if I click here and I go interior and I change this to a fixed shelf, and then I go 3D and I go perspective, you can see that the fixed shelf now has all the same drilling as everything else. So that's how you set that up, and that's basically it for how to set up fasteners. It's really powerful, it's really useful, and you should definitely have that set up. If you can't figure it out yourself, definitely get training. It's totally worth it. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good one.